This is seriously one of the most powerful interventions I know for chronic anxiety because it uses a bottom up approach. A bottom up approach is a body first method to regulate your nervous system, and it will help you reduce stress and anxiety throughout the entire day. And the best part is it's really simple to learn. But before I show you how to do it, I need to show you something that most people completely miss about why they feel anxious in the first place. Because if you don't understand this, then nothing else is going to stick. Most people think anxiety is about, the big stuff, like a massive deadline, or maybe thoughts like, well, what if my partner leaves me? Or am I going to be okay financially? But here's what's actually happening. Stress is a nervous system response. You might have heard that before. So, our autonomic nervous system, abbreviated ANS, autonomic nervous system, is constantly scanning our environment for threats. This is helpful to us in so many ways. There is a reason nature provides us with this, but it can be an absolute inhibitor as well when it's not balanced, especially in these modern times, because it responds to micro triggers, these tiny little stressors throughout the day that you might not even be conscious of. And these tiny little stressors start to stack up throughout the day, especially when we are not aware of what they are. Let's say you walk into your day feeling okay, right? You feel okay. Then you see a stressful email subject line. Your mind immediately starts racing. Then you hit traffic, your shoulders tighten, or you start gripping the steering wheel tighter. Then maybe somebody asks you a difficult question and your stomach clenches and you start to stutter your words. Then maybe you have to get on the phone with someone to address an issue. And before doing so, your heart starts racing. These are everyday common occurrences, but each moment activates our sympathetic nervous system just a little bit. The problem is we never complete the cycle. We white knuckle through trigger to trigger thinking, we'll relax later. But here's the crucial distinction I missed for decades. Relaxation is not the same as resolution. When you finally sit down to watch TV or scroll on your phone, you aren't resolving the stress, you're just putting it on hold. We like to engage in something that makes us forget about the tension rather than solving the tension. I used to do this all the time. So then the tension, the stress, the anxiety is still in us. We're just drowning it out temporarily. But if we looked closer, we could see that maybe our jaw is still clenched or that our breathing is still shallow. I used to miss those signs all the time. I had no idea they were happening. Or maybe we have that anxious pacing or repetitive motion type anxiety where we have trouble sitting still. I know that's me in a nutshell. So how do we fix this? We have to stop trying to think our way out of anxiety. I would always try to think my way out of anxiety. So trying to think our way out of anxiety is a top down approach. And I tried that for many years. The more effective way to resolving anxiety is working with the body, which is a bottom up approach. This is a two-step practice I use called awareness and regulation. So you can probably guess step one is awareness. Most of us live from the neck up, completely disconnected from our bodies. I lived that way for many, many years, so I know what that is like. When one lives like this, they don't even realize that they are clenching their jaws or gripping onto things like steering wheels of a car or whatever it is, toothbrush, so tightly. They don't even realize when they are holding their breath or bracing. To fix this, we need to interrupt the pattern. So you can set a random chime on your phone or use simple cues like every time I'm at a stoplight or every time I touch a doorknob, I check in with myself. When whatever cue you have with yourself hits, you pause for 5 seconds and scan the body. Am I tense? What am I feeling right now? Am I holding my breath? Is my tongue pressed against the roof of my mouth? Just the act of noticing begins to wake up the connection between your mind and body. There are signs your body is giving, but that is only helpful if you notice the signs. And there are signs. My hands and wrists used to hurt really badly. I was afraid I was getting carpal tunnel. This was, several years ago. This was happening at the height of a really anxious time in my life, and I didn't have as many tools. I wanted to reverse this ailment. I wasn't even going towards anxiety. I was just like, my hands hurt. So I started to notice how tense my body was as I went throughout the day. I noticed I would grip my steering wheel so tightly. When I would brush my teeth, I was holding my toothbrush with such a strong grip and was brushing really hard. I was moving through the day bracing physically, but when I brought the awareness to this, I had no idea I was even doing it. When I brought awareness to this, I was able to discover so many ways I was doing this throughout the day, and it was creating such an unintentional stress response. And I didn't even know I was doing. Of course, my hands hurt. I mean, when I brought awareness, everything I was touching, I was just, ah. Step 2 is regulation. So once you notice you're activated, you don't need a meditative retreat. You need a biological reset button. We do this through things like grounding, right? And there's lots of grounding techniques which manually switch your body from the fight or flight sympathetic nervous system response to the rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system response. And it's way simpler than you think. This reset button is way simpler than you think. When you feel that anxiety activation, take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale with a noise. So like this. I do this frequently throughout the day, and I can tell you it feels really good. So when I feel that like activation without like mentally trying to understand it, deep breath in through the nose and a sigh that kind of makes a sound brings me right back into a more regulated state. Another thing you can do is force a fake yawn. I do this to trick my brain into kind of cooling down, right? It brings you into that parasympathetic nervous system rest and digest mode with that yawn. Some other easy things I do is drop my shoulders 2 inches, right? So sometimes I'm like sitting there like this, and I just drop my shoulders a couple inches. I often check what my hands are doing, and if my hands are clenched, I'll unclench my hands. There's even sometimes where I will use a mantra. My go-to mantra, just as a verbal reminder to my body, is all is well and I am safe. All is well and I am safe. By doing things like this, you are literally retraining the body to default to calm instead of panic. Of course, I'm going to be stressed if I'm walking around with like my teeth clenched and my shoulders up and my hand. You know what I mean? Like all of that sends signals that I am bracing for something unsafe. When you start doing some of these practices, something magical happens. You aren't just managing stress, you are widening your window of tolerance. You begin to experience relaxed vigilance, a state where you can handle difficult things, handle the chaos of Earth School without being destroyed by it. You stop needing to escape your life because your life stops feeling like a threat. And that is a gift. I was always trying to escape my life because it always felt like a threat. And to not live like that is a gift. So here's my invitation to you this week. Catch yourself, catch the clench, catch the shallow breath. And in that moment, choose, if you'd like, to drop your shoulders. Check how tightly you're gripping something, your phone, whatever it is. Breathe in and exhale. Address the anxiety from a bottom up, a body focused approach rather than a mind focused approach. Let me know how you do. Have a good week.